What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. We have AFK Journey in the spotlight for today's content, and I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to their development team for sponsoring this video and enabling me to bring it to your awareness. For those of you who don't already know, there's a brand new season arriving on September 19th by the name of Waves of Intrigue, and they've got a lot of stuff coming with this update. There's a brand new map for you to explore, there's new storyline, and of course with new storyline comes new characters, playable characters that are going to be dropping by the name of Dunlingr, Sinbad, and Nara. All three of these characters are super cool. I've been playing with them behind the scenes, and I look forward to teaching you guys about their kits and how they function. But also what comes with the new season is like a theme, right? We've got the pirate theme, and this ethereal canvas art that they have in AFK Journey makes this pirate theme look absolutely gorgeous. I'll be showing off the map as well as all the things you can do that make the map immersive. I also want to go over their brand new system. It's a skill tree attached to the factions that you're going to be putting out on the field. We'll go over all of the intricacies and what it entails. There's some new rewards. I mean, dude, I'm not kidding. There's a lot of stuff coming in this. And if you're a returning player and you're thinking, what if I got to play catch up? Rest assured, all hero seasonal levels have been reset. And of course, this was designed in a way so that everyone goes into the new season with a clean slate. The hero level stats gained from the starter story, those will be in effect in perpetuity for all future seasons. But seasonal progress, that's been wiped back to zero, so everyone can have a clean slate going into this new Waves of Intrigue season. So you don't have to have that, oh, I gotta play catch up type of vibe. Also, to incentivize players even further, there's a 7-day login event where you get free summons just for logging in for 7 days. There's a free epic chest for you to select the hero of your choice, an S tier hero, and then there's skins to acquire just by like knocking out events and stuff. And this wasn't included in the details. I logged in on my own before the season arrived and got 5 S tier characters in one single day just by clicking on the cards. I told my friend about it. He logged in, he got 5 S tier characters. So chances are, if you haven't played AFK Journey in a while, you got 5 S tier characters waiting on you. And this is not even included in the update. Just food for thought in case you're interested there. Free characters, you know, why not? Anyways, before we get straight into it, if you end up liking what you see, don't forget to download AFK Journey with my link in the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section. There's also a code down there, an AFK code that you can use to get some more rewards, 200 diamonds and 20,000 gold. You can thank me later. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first up on the menu, let's go ahead and get the story out of the way. And don't worry, not gonna spoil you. Everything I'm gonna be mentioning is stuff that has already been shown in trailers and like the overview that's been revealed by the devs themselves. I just want you guys to be set up so that you know what you're getting yourself into. Anyways, you start off sailing across the sea and you get knocked into the water by a Loch Ness sea monster, by a kraken, very pirate theme induced, right? Now, to be honest, I thought you was lost to Davy Jones' locker. That's generally, you know, a one-way street, but somehow you made it a two-way street. It's probably because you're Magister Merlin. You end up washing ashore and you run into one of the key characters of the story, Sinbad, which I love this guy's design. He looks sick. He's a very charismatic guy, seems very friendly and helpful, but he's also got a sly tongue and he's quite convincing. Now, you'll end up learning all about this dude. You'll spend a lot of time with him. You'll learn about his motives and who he actually is and all that good stuff down the line, but we want to keep it spoiler free, as I said. He eventually ends up taking you to Rustport, which is a lawless town. If I had to reference other, you know, things outside of AFK Journey, I would compare it to like Tortuga from Pirates of the Caribbean mixed with Gotham City from Batman. In fact, there's a mafia gang that runs the entire city by the name of Carmine Whisperers. And the leader of this mafia gang, which is like 2 leaders, he looks like Penguin, or he has a Penguin vibe from Batman. He doesn't look like him, but he's definitely got that vibe to him. But he gave his blessing to his daughter, which her name is Sanja. She's the leader of the Carmine Whisperers. Everybody goes to her. And she's a very strong-minded and strong-willed character that was raised by this guy. And you end up learning all about this gang, how they got into that position of power, which is actually an interesting plot twist and quite dark as well. But the real concept and you know, the real plot of the story is learning why they are at odds with another group by the name of Water Whites, which is essentially this evil and dark pirate group belonging to the Graveborn faction. And these guys are most certainly evil. Like, you look at the Carmine Whisperers and you're like, okay, it looks like they might be trying to make their Rustport City a better place, but they just a little rough on the edges. When you look at the Water Whites, you're like, oh yeah, that's the evil, that's the bad guys, no doubt about it, right? So you're trying to learn why these two are at odds, which, to be honest, the leader of the Water Rights looks super sick. He's kind of like a Blackbeard or like a Davy Jones or a Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's got that vibe about him. Unfortunately, I didn't make it far enough into the story to actually meet the guy. I really wanted to, but I didn't get to meet him. He's got a right-hand woman too. Two of them, actually. One of them looks gorgeous and super cool. And then the other one is Nara, who happens to be the sister of Sanja, which, by the way, these two are on the completely different, they're on opposite sides of the fence. But one of the things you want to learn as the player is, well, what's going on here? How did they end up in the different groups who are at war with one another? I don't want to share too much more, but all I'm going to say is the story's been very enjoyable. It's been very intriguing, and I think a lot of people are actually going to have a good time with this update just because of the story. All right, next up, I want to go over exploration and the activities that are associated with it and the Waves of Intrigue update, starting off with fishing. Fishing is actually pretty cool. It's not too hard to do. All you do is you wait for the fish to bite. We're going to be waiting. Boom, we're going to click on that, right? And that was an instant catch. Nice. Not all of them are instant catch. We'll do it again. We cast our line again. We wait on the fish to bite. Boom. All right, so the name of the game is you just want to hold down the mouse and keep the fish inside of this circle. That's the name of the game, right? Also, strong pull pops up. We press E, and then it instantly catches the fish for us. So you can use the strong pull mech. We'll do another one so you guys get a little bit more acclimated. You can use the strong pull to expedite that process. Oh, pull now, and then we're gonna keep them inside of here. You'll see the strong pull's already doing a nice little countdown, right? Every now and then you'll see that arrow point to where the fish is trying to head to, all right? And then once strong pull becomes available, we click that bad boy and it just expedites the process. And that's pretty much it. That's how the fishing works. You usually get your remaining attempts shown up here. So we have 7 remaining attempts, and the goal is to try to catch every fish of the category. But yeah, this is one of the many activities around the map that you'll be able to do in the Waves of Intrigue update. Not too complicated. And once you're done with fishing, by the way, you come over here to your event, and it's going to be called the Angler's Log. And here you can go ahead and claim once you've done all the tasks that it's telling you to do. Press claim and you get your currency towards this. And look at that, 5, 10, 15, 20 invite letters towards these standard wishes just by catching yourself some lovely little fish. The next activity you can do around the map is going to be plundering for gold, which any of these crystals you see around the map, you can go and plunder, which ideally you want to go for the one that's offering the highest value of points. So if we click on this puppy right here, we click Plunder Geode, right? We're already plundering another one, so you can't do 2 at once. It'll just take the plunder away from the other one and start this one. So plunder begins, and it's actually quite simple. You see all these battle signs here. You just click on one of them, and you usually are going to go up against an opponent. You set up your team on the field. Boom, let's go ahead and just set up a couple of people and then click battle. Once you defeat the opponent, then you get the gold plundered for that battle. And the idea is to do this until you get to the middle, which I'll show you that here in a bit. So we're going to come over here to the, see, I got 38 gold for plundering that. Each one of them has a numerical value associated with it, 38, 38, 38. Then we go to the next one. And finally, we defeat that one at the end, and then you get all 380 gold. Now, what's cool about plundering gold is it's not just, you're not just plundering gold for anything at all, right? It's not like pointless. If you come over here, geodes defended, you get to claim this. My crystal, right? See, that's where it says it at. We get to claim that. We get 12 in, and then we can come back over here to our events and actually utilize that currency, which I got 1,915, to trade it in exchange for all of these goodies in this shop, which, by the way, this is very valuable for obtaining celestial and hypogean characters. This is very valuable for developing your characters to make them stronger with their unique abilities. So there's a lot of goodies in this shop that you can use by plundering gold. It's not just to do it for fun. Plus, it does match the pirate theme, which is really cool. So that's another event that you can do as you're exploring the map. Now, some of y'all might also be wondering how many chests are laid out around the map. If you're familiar with AFK Journey, you know when you find these treasure chests here, they always got some goodies, right? You got epic letters, which are very important. You got some diamond currency, which can be used for all types of formats of summons. There's actually quite a bit of chests laid out all around this map. 1, 2, like, I mean, they're all over the place, right? Like you come down here. I didn't even unlock the final area, as I told y'all before, which is a pity. We just didn't have enough time to get over there, but there's all kinds of goodies laid out all around the map. And I will say one thing I like about AFK Journey's map is it's just very easy to find stuff. It's not overly convoluted. The symbols are crystal clear. We can come over here, take a look at this area and see that there's a treasure chest right there. Click this, take us back to where we were originally. So there's a lot of stuff to explore and acquire for sure. All right, next up is quite important because I want to talk to you guys about what's going to be coming in with the new season. As I've told you before, your seasonal progress is going to be reset. So no matter how much you've progressed through in the last season, that'll be back to 0. Your season level will be reset as well, and the resonance level of all the players will start from 240. The new season requirements are completing main quests of Ryam Tales, and the resonance level must be 240. But one thing that's going to be resetting that's actually a huge positive is going to be the growth quests and the growth trials. For those of you who don't know, growth quests come with epic letters just from you playing the game and, you know, periodically progressing throughout the season. There's a lot of goodies that are associated with the growth path. And so, yeah, look at all those diamonds, by the way, which you can then use to trade in for the more important letters, which is used to acquire the limited characters. There's growth quests, and then there's growth trials, which is riddled with even more diamonds for you to acquire. Then that's not all. There's season quest, which this bad boy has a ton of resources for you to acquire. You'll see we keep scrolling, we keep scrolling, we keep scrolling. And if you're worried about season token, or if you're curious about what that might be, you can actually use that as an exchange. We come over here to the Emporium. Here's your season Emporium, which right now they're going to be adding more to this, I believe. But right now you can acquire Alsa and I believe Soren, and I think more will be added in as time progresses. But there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming in with the growth path, as well as those seasonal quest rewards. Now, the other thing that's coming in is the Primal Lords, which, by the way, this is one right here. And then there's another one in the area that I didn't get a chance to unlock. 2 Primal Lords that will be taking place with the new season, and they will be riddled with a ton of rewards too. Generally, the way that works is your whole entire server is going to be participating in dealing as much damage as possible to those 2 Primal Lords. And then at the end of this season, or the end of the time that they're available, you'll be able to collect all of those rewards. So it's like a collective effort between you and your server. Now, the next important thing that's going to be coming in with the season is going to be faction talents. This is going to be exclusive to this season. Every single faction has a talent that you can utilize going into battle. So this will be integrated into a number of the modes that you'll be participating in. And this is very important. It's going to pertain to your strategizing and team building so that you can have the strongest amount of team design that's going to be revolving around this system right here. So every single faction has a distinctive faction skill bonus that you can use and put on your characters to aid you in battle. Now, the only mode I know this won't be applicable to is Dream Realm. For whatever reason, they didn't put this in Dream Realm, but essentially every path has an ability, right? So the light bearers have an ability called Echoing Radiance. When the prime carrier casts the ultimate, they can summon a shadow that casts the ultimate again. So this light bearers have a ultimate type of trope where you're going to be able to essentially, I guess, snowball ultimates with particular characters where they could really pop off depending on who you place that on. Like I can already immediately think Vala will be popping off with this particular ability here, because she's just going to be sniping people left and right with her and her shadow. So you can snowball with that. I can only imagine the amount of people who will be cooking up all these different faction bonuses, right? But the way it works is you get this currency here by progressing through the season. And then you use that currency to level up this tree line to unlock various abilities pertaining to that faction. For example here, this second ability says increase the ultimate damage for the prime carrier and their shadow by 20%, right? You come over here and look at this one. The shadow inherits 65% instead of 60 of the prime carrier's attack. So as you progress down this skill tree line, you get more and more abilities that are going to enhance the prowess and the efficacy of that path skill bonus ability. So for the light bearers, it's like an ultimate scaling, but for the wilders, it's attack percent or attack speed. I'm sorry, it's attack speed scaling. The prime carrier loses 50% of their max HP and gains a permanent shield that can block up to 50% damage when a battle starts. Then the prime carrier becomes unaffected, which means they can't be affected by crowd control, while the shield is active and gains an additional 60 attack speed. If the prime carrier uses ranged attacks, their attack range will be extended to cover the entire battlefield, and the range or certain skills will expand accordingly. And again, as you go down that tree line, you get more and more perks that are going to make it even more potent and powerful. Dude, I can already tell you off rip, I'm just thinking of like the summon team where you summon what's her name, Cecilia and the other summon. I can only imagine them popping off with that freaking buff. That sounds insane because they scale off of normal attacks. Yeah, this girl right here, Floribel and Cecilia, I can see them popping off with that buff. And then there's the most like broken DPS in the game, which is Lily May. I can see her popping off with some of those buffs as well. So I look forward to seeing people cook up, but every faction is gonna have their own particular buff, and it's going to be your job to get creative and concoct some crazy team compositions to take advantage of those buffs. Another new thing coming in this season is going to be Heroic Gauntlet. This is a new event that you'll be able to partake in. It's got some pretty good resources as well. You can acquire charm chests from it. You've got some invite letters, you got some velvet vouchers, and then you have Twilight Essence if you can make it all the way to difficulty 6 and complete it. That is a very rare resource to acquire. It's literally go up against a boss, and it's a character that obviously is already existing in the game. Every character has an interesting like one-shot kill type of mechanic, and it's your job to strategize a team that is going to be able to circumvent that mechanic and live long enough to defeat them before they defeat you. So I already did 3 levels here. Difficulty 4 is really tough for me right now. I'm still figuring that one out. But difficulty 3, we are able to overcome by simply putting up characters to the front that could soak up her damage before she makes it to my back row. I also put some characters out there that could CC her because she deals 80% true damage with her attacks to my HP, which means she pretty much one taps everyone. So if I can get some people out there to CC her so she can't attack as fast, and then have some people up there that can soak up the damage long enough, then we can overcome this challenge and end up winning, which that's pretty much what ended up happening. This guy is an absolute monster. He makes 2 copies of himself. And then you've got, you know, people in the back just putting all the damage on her. So, but you can see she does so much damage. Oh my goodness. And that's just one character. They have a number of different characters that enter this lineup, and they all can deal some pretty crazy damage in their own unique ways. And as I said, it's your job to strategize around that and try and beat them. But yeah, there's 6 difficulties in total. Okay, so now I want to get into how the 3 new characters coming in with the season function and how their kits are designed to be utilized. Starting off with Nara, who's going to be the first limited banner character of the season. This character, first of all, I love the design. The design looks sick. It looks like Tim Burton himself designed her, which is a legendary director who has Johnny Depp in like 90% of their movies. I love it. It looks cool. She looks like she came straight out of Nightmare Before Christmas. But this little item right here is her bread and butter. She's essentially like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. She can grab somebody and bring him right over to her, which you can imagine is going to be a very broken ability for PvP mode. You can just grab like somebody from the back, bring them over to her, and so just assassinate them. And that's essentially what her kit is all about. She's a snowball DPS rogue, and she obviously belongs to the Graveborn faction. You can tell from the color here, but her whole entire like identity from my experience with her is to bring squishy units to the back and assassinate them. And Her ultimate is her bread and butter with the freaking scorpion move. She brings them to the back and then she ults them, kills them, and then brings somebody else over next. Yes, you can repeat this. This is the snowball perk of Nara. Now there's a couple of ways you can use that type of strategy, right? You can use it. I like to place her to the back next to other people who can just like kind of gank the monster she brings to the back or the enemy she brings to the back. Or you can use her in a way that's going to allow you to like take out one of the people in the back line and then have somebody else focusing on somebody else in the back line. But what I've come to learn about her kit that's quite intricate is her ultimate only deals the stronger damage when an enemy's HP drops below 40%. And then to make matters even more interesting, in auto battle, the ult does not activate at all unless their HP is below 40%. So you want to make sure that their HP is getting below 40%. What I mean is if you're going up against somebody with Nara and they keep regenerating their HP back to like, you know, full, taking a long time to drop below 40%, that's a huge weakness of Nara. You kind of want to ensure that she's able to snowball, because when she starts defeating enemies, she also gets stronger. So her whole entire kit is a ramp up, defeat them, move on to the next person type of kit. I personally found success pairing her up with Vala and Sinbad on a light bearer comp. And I used the 3 light bearers faction bonus, put it on my Vala just because Vala could like double ult. And then her and Vala were just mopping up the field. Another team that I was interested in trying out with her was the Wilder faction bonus skill tree buff. And I ended up putting, this team right here. I ended up doing Hewin with Lily May and Linya just so I can get advantage of that Wilder buff. And I put it on my my Lily May, since she's the most broken DPS in the game. But yeah, I put this team together and her job was literally to bring people to the back, and then Lily May would just assassinate the back row in conjunction with Nara. I really like that. Now, the next character I want to talk to you guys about is Dunlingr. This dude, I'm calling it right now. I think he's going to be the most broken tank in the entirety of the game. There's so many things about his kit that's just broken. Like, let's just go ahead and start off with this ability right here. Dunlingr reduces damage by 10% during battle. No questions asked, no conditions, just reduces damage. While the order is in effect, he further reduces damage taken by an extra 5%, and then that immediately just scales all the way down to here. So you just get a free 24% damage reduction with this guy, no questions asked. Then Dunlingr protects the farthest non-summon ally, ensuring they're not affected by his order until the ally is defeated. So he gets 4% increased attack, 20 haste. Again, no condition except just make sure the farthest ally. And then he has they're going to have what he's wearing on his back, on their back, to indicate that that's the ally he's going to give it to. But his ult is very interesting. His ult, as soon as battle starts, you get to decide whether you want it to be spellbound or cure lock. And there's a little knob that you can just click and activate that's going to allow Dunlingr to decide between the spellbind and cure lock. If you do spellbind, you cannot cast ultimate on both sides for 6 seconds. Everyone has to obey this guy. It says it right here. Dunlingr summons the Bell of Order, declaring an order that all non-boss units on both sides must obey unconditionally for 6 plus 0.25 seconds. So soon as battle starts, nobody can cast their ultimates if you make him a spellbind version. If you make him cure lock, nobody can recover HP for 6 seconds. So it's up to you to decide how you want to use it. For the most part, I was always using spellbind. Nobody could cast their ultimates because he actually has an ability that states that, here it goes. Dunlingr protects the farthest non-summon ally, ensuring they are not affected by his order until the ally is defeated. So you could designate somebody with this buff protection right here, and they are not affected by his ult that says unable to cast ultimate, right? So you can put it on one person and they can cast their ultimate, but nobody else can, which is honestly insanely broken. Finally, you come over here to enhance force. Upon casting Echo of Silence, which that's his ultimate, and he cast that at the very beginning of battle, by the way, Dunlingr grants all allies 50 attack speed for 6 seconds. If the order is set to Spellbind or provides them with 25 life drain for 6 seconds, if the order is set to Cure Lock. So again, you get to choose which mode he wants to do before the battle even starts. And then as soon as that happens, all these other effects come into play when the battle begins. Spellbind's pretty broken, I'll be honest, for a lot of teams. 50 attack speed for 6 seconds immediately so soon as battle starts, on top of all the other stuff. Pretty broken buffs. Overall, this guy is a absolute monstrous tank, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be triple S tier in probably all modes. Finally, we have my boy Sinbad, which I'll be honest, I really like his design too. He's an A-star rogue belonging to the Lightbearer faction as well. He's actually got one of the most interesting kits I think I've ever seen in this game. I want to start off with this skill right here. 6 seconds into a battle, Sinbad vaults behind his allies and starts assessing the enemy's strength. He marks the enemy dealing the most damage as the hitter and the one taking the most damage as the guard. So he marks two different enemies. Whoever's dealing the most damage, he marks them as the hitter, and then whoever's taking the most damage, he marks them as the guard. These marks last for 30 seconds. Sinbad then charges at the hitter, dealing damage 4 times and reducing their attack by 45%. Next, he takes on the guard, and then dealing the same damage 4 times and increasing their damage taken by 25%. So he reduces the person on the other team who's dealing most damage by 45%. He reduces that, and then he increases the damage received by the person taking the most damage by 25%. So I thought that was very interesting. Both debuffs expire when their respective marks do. If a marked enemy is defeated or when the marks expire, Sinbad then starts a new assessment and becomes unaffected. So he can't be crowd controlled during that time. The debuffs are reduced to 20% of the original effect when used against bosses. So yeah, that was a very interesting perk for me for Sinbad. I think he's a fantastic unit just for that alone. And what's even cool is with further investment, this hitter and guard debuff that he applies actually doubles down at Mythic Plus. Sinbad studies the fighting style of the hitter and the guard to strengthen the debuffs he applies. If the hitter deals more normal attack damage, Sinbad's debuff will reduce their attack speed by 60. And then if they deal more skill damage, the debuff will reduce their energy recovery efficiency by 60. For the guard, if they depend more on healing from allies or themselves, Sinbad's debuff will reduce their vitality. If they rely more on damage mitigation, the debuff will reduce their physical defense and magical defense by 30%. That was the most broken one I read thus far. So it seems like this guy pretty much adapts to whatever the situation is on the battlefield, which I think can be beneficial for a number of scenarios. So I think this guy's a fantastic addition to the Lightbearer faction. And if you're putting him next to Vala or any other teams with rogues, honestly, you can put him on the team with a number of situations, and I can see him benefiting from any of those situations. Overall, a fantastic A-tier unit getting added to the AFK Journey roster that I'm sure many people will be able to cook up some good comps with. Now, one of the last things I wanted to mention about this season is they're bringing in this new type of banner summon. In addition to having Nara, who's going to be the limited promotional character, there's also going to be another banner next to her where you can acquire Sinbad, the brand new A-tier character, but times 8. So you'll get 8 copies of Sinbad when you make 40 wishes. 8 whole copies of them every time you summon on this banner. So essentially is enabling you to max out your A-star characters much quicker than just like, you know, gambling on the other banners and just praying you get a copy of them. I thought that was interesting and pretty cool, to be honest. So if you want to get Sinbad because you're a big fan of him, you end up falling in love with this character during the story, that option will be available. Overall, I've had a great time with this update. It's brought me back into AFK Journey unintentionally, and I think some of you guys will like what it brings in this latest season update as well. Overall, that's going to wrap up this video. I hope I brought some pretty good insight to you. And if you end up liking what you saw, again, don't forget to click the links down below in the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section to download AFK Journey, as well as using my gift code. It'll be right next to the link. Okay, thanks for watching, and a huge shout out again to the developers for sponsoring this video. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.